Hello, everyone. Welcome to a professionally unprofessional podcast. I'm joined once again by my good friends Reese and Elliot.
Hello, everyone.
Just once I'd like to introduce myself. You always introduce us. I'd like to introduce myself one time.
Never.
No, because we are beneath him. We are beneath him in this podcast.
Well, Carl is the person who signs our paycheck, so.
Touche.
Yeah, but we can at least try not... Yeah, but we can at least try and forget that for a second.
So, we got a couple of games to talk about. Unfortunately, two of the three games that we're talking about, only I've played.
And the third one we're only kind of talking about because it came out yesterday.
Which...
Well, two of the games came out for me yesterday. One didn't arrive thanks to the Royal Mail.
Yeah,
Thanks, Royal Mail. They've always been useless, so I don't think I've ever had a good delivery from them.
Which is funny
because... Well, especially now they've been privatised, it's going to get even worse.
Like the most recent purchases, either they just slipped the "oh, we missed you" thing through the door without even knocking, or they sent it to the wrong fucking place.
And that's what's just happened with me with Donkey Kong.
Ah, fuck.
So,
yeah.
Someone 6-year-old is very happy.
Yeah, so I had to ring up support. I was on hold for nearly 40 minutes trying to get through to someone.
Okay.
And then they said, "Oh, we'll get it back to you." Send someone out. Yeah, it'll be there about Monday.
But that's what I said to you. Just buy it digitally.
Yeah.
There and then, because it.
But there's something you forget, Calvin. Reese is very stubborn.
Yes.
But
I have principles.
Okay, so I did get. So that brings us on to the first game we'll talk about, which is the highest on Metacritic, Donkey Kong Bonanza.
A very brief discussion. I imagine we're going to talk about it more next month because we've literally only played me and Calvin probably played a couple hours of it. Reese hasn't played it at all.
Yep.
Put it this way, my very brief thoughts on it are, I think this is going to be fighting for my Game of the Year at this point.
Oh, wow.
I think it's very fun, but there are a couple kind of frustrations with it.
Fight.
Well, one of my biggest frustrations is one of the things I bought with it, which was the amiibo.
Of course it is.
Because they basically I got the Donkey Kong and Pauline amiibo, hoping because you don't get much for the Donkey Kong amiibo. You get some explosive materials for every so often. But one of the things you're supposed to get with this one is also Pauline's Mario Odyssey outfit. Yeah. And I've scanned it several times. It still hasn't shown up.
It goes to the wardrobe.
Yeah, I've gone into the wardrobe on numerous occasions. It doesn't let you scan there. You can only scan in the open world.
Do you have to make a certain amount of progress in the main story for unlocks?
Well, I thought that, but I looked into the... none of the other websites are saying that's how you have to go this far into the story to get it to work. They're just saying you scan this, you get the Mario Odyssey outfit. Now, it's not tied to the amiibo, thankfully. You can get it in-game without that. But it does annoy me that one of the functions of this amiibo doesn't appear to be working at this point.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, they only said in the last direct, you get it early, not... So it might be I have to get to the part of the game where you would get that outfit and... But I really do enjoy... I like the destructive gameplay. I like the... I do like the fact that the bananas are a really cool collectible. Though some of them are really hard to find.
Yeah.
I've done most of the bananas in the first area, but I'm still missing about 10 of them, and I just cannot think where the hell they could be.
The only bananas Donkey Kong eats in this game are Crystal. His poor teeth.
I know. Yeah.
His dentist must love him. Which actually leads to my theory. He's part Goron.
Okay, so
because he collects gold and is eating rock bananas. He's part Goron.
Elliot, what do you think about? What are your issues with the game at the moment?
Well, start off when breaking through walls, the camera zooms in way too close, way too often. Like to the point where I can't actually see Donkey Kong and I get lost.
I'm not really having that issue myself, but
it almost feels like it's going into first person and does not feel, and it's kind of jarring.
I have noticed there's some frame rate drops as well when you go into the map. Like, there's a few frame rate drops all over the place, but mostly is stable at 60.
Apparently, some of the worst drops are in photo mode.
Yeah,
right.
Photo mode does have the most noticeable ones that I've spotted. I also haven't tried out that DK artist thing because
I think going into Bonanza mode is way too easy. Like you get a few pieces of gold and it's just like meter's full immediately.
Yeah, I don't
know.
The
thing is, the meter fills up while you're in Bonanza mode. So you go through that, it ends, and you can just immediately go into it again.
Yeah, and I don't know why I bothered upgrading getting into Bonanza mode faster, because it's not as if you're going to struggle getting it.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I've only unlocked 2 of the Bonanza transformations so far.
I haven't even got that far. I'm only on World 2 at the minute.
I'm on, I think, World 6 or 7.
Oh, wow.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, if you just want to go from start... That's another thing about this game. It's incredibly short if you just want to go from start to finish. Like, I've seen a bunch of live streams where they finished the game in 4.5 hours.
Bloody hell.
I mean, I think a lot of collectibles are like that. You go from start to end incredibly quickly without doing a lot of the other stuff. You're going to be beating it really easy. Like in lightning speed.
Okay, but...
Well, at least in Mario Odyssey, you had to get a certain amount of moons to move on.
Yeah, you don't really need to do... You do have objectives, but you don't really need to collect a certain number of bananas in Donkey Kong.
No, you have to get to the... It's actually way linear than... If you want to do it, it's way linear than Mario Odyssey is. But you can... But obviously you got the teleports... so you can go between levels very easily and get the ones that you missed, and it does come with, unlike Mario Odyssey, it does come with a comprehensive list. But I also found a funny thing is I don't think I've spotted that many bananas where I think I need another ability that I get later before I can go back and do that one. Like Mario Odyssey, I think had a couple of moons that were like that.
Well, Joe, when he went to the sort of Switch 2 event, Kadekura said he wasn't really a big fan of the game because the breaking of the walls and environment started to kind of give him a bit of anxiety just with how much there was to break. I get what he means, as it's a bit anxiety-inducing.
Yeah, but I will say, Elliot...
It's like the amount you have to break, you're just saying, okay, am I breaking enough? Am I breaking too much? Is it going to make the environment too difficult to navigate? What's going on? Like, it becomes a bit...
I will say, Elliot, that's because you've only done the early areas. As you go to the later areas, it basically creates loads of situations where you absolutely want to avoid... You want to be a bit more careful with your level of destruction.
That'll be even more anxiety-inducing.
Well, I've also seen online as well. As you go between level to level, the progress of destruction resets. So if you travel back to an earlier level, it's back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that. Yeah, I had that when I went back to the first area to get back some of my the bananas I missed.
Yeah, so you destroy as much as you want, but you'll never be locked out of progress.
So actually, on that point, I think the best thing about this game, one of the best things about this game, is the soundtrack.
Yeah,
like the remix of the old Donkey Kong Country songs are amazing, and the new Pauline songs are fantastic.
But it's no Jump Up Superstar, though, is it?
Not yet, but I haven't got to the main theme song yet, which I've heard people say is amazing.
Well, if you've just been gunning the main story, then they're holding that quite late.
I mean, they are, but I think she's singing in Japanese because of at least the Bonanza theme. I'm fairly certain is Japanese. It sounds very J-pop-ish.
Yeah, it's also the same with the Ostrich Bonanza song that I got. That one was also same. Also, another thing I found is that the outfits don't make that much of a difference, in my opinion. Like the one I've been upgrading and keeping the most is one of the first ones you get, the treasure tie, which increases the likelihood of running into treasure chests.
Mm.
And if you fully upgrade that, it goes up to like 30% chance of finding one.
I mean, they all do have like different abilities that do actually seem pretty useful.
Yeah,
and there's a tie that literally makes you invisible.
I haven't found that one. I actually haven't. I need to look over some of the shops then because I don't think I spotted.
Yeah,
that
probably
one.
because it's post credits. So,
I will say though, what do we think now of Donkey Kong's redesign? Now that we've had more time to digest it,
he's still wearing trousers. 0 out of 10.
Yeah, but I'm still more of a fan of his classic Rare design myself.
I'm growing to like it since I've seen more of it.
I got 50-50. I like them both the same.
And also the fact it's being more forced upon us now with this in Mario Kart Worlds.
Well, apparently, because apparently this was always the plan for this redesign since 2021. We've now learned because this game did start life as a Switch 1 game back in 2020 and 2021, and they then sort of, as they were going along, realized we cannot get this thing to work on Switch 1 and make the game we want to make. We have to move this to Switch 2.
I blame the Mario movie. I blame the Mario movie for it.
Well, I have to wonder. That's actually an interesting one because another thing I haven't tested the co-op out yet, and I wonder
because you've got no friends.
I have to wonder how is game share gonna work if you're doing the game share locally with a Switch 1? Because this does work. You can do the game share with Switch 1. I can't imagine it's going to run that well at being streamed with that many effects happening at once.
But yeah, can you play it on the Switch 1?
That's the question. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because I remember I saw footage of people trying to do game share with Split Fiction and between Switch 2 and Switch 1, and it did not work out well.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really have final thoughts on it, but I'd say at this point in time, I really, really like this one. I think it's a very good platformer.
I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I also just checked the day one speedruns because speedrun.com doesn't open for another week yet. But on YouTube, people have already done it in 2 hours. Just the main story, gunning it on day one.
I find that so dull at that point because you're missing out on so much good stuff in the game if you do that.
Yeah,
that's speedrunners. Their joy is speeding through the game. It's like saying, "Oh, why do they always go through 2 glitches in Ocarina of Time? They don't go through the actual game. What's the point of that?"
So the one I'm bothered by more is when people are doing it in like 4.5 hours and they're not speed running it and just saying, "I want to get the content out."
Yeah, that's why I see all the YouTubers.
It's like
the content creators.
And I compare this with I compare it though. Like Game Explain did that for their live stream. They had their head and known twat Andre do a 4.5 hour stream. It's like, why would you do that? Split it over a few streams. Really enjoy the game. Keep in mind though, the channel of
these people aren't playing the game the way I would. How dare they?
But I'm seeing other content channels are basically saying that we're going to take our time with it and then we're going to have a video out as we get it done. If they haven't received a download code already. I can't believe that you take this game, which actually has tons of side content, and you're just like, because I honestly think the most fun I'm having with the game is when I'm just going off looking for bananas. I feel like that's the one complaint I do have with the game. I think it's a little too linear when you're just going from start to finish.
Yeah. So do you think it would have benefited from those roadblocks like in Odyssey, get a certain amount of collectibles to move on?
Yes, I really think it would have benefited from Odyssey's whole, you've got to get a certain number of bananas before you can do the next layer.
Because the bananas are more skill points than anything else. Like that's
a good point. What do you guys think about the skill tree?
It's all right.
You know me, I'm not normally a fan of skill trees, but I don't mind it so much with this one because it's not so much a tree and
it's more just a checklist.
Yeah, that's really more of what it is.
If anything else, like when I think of skill trees, I obviously just think of ones that branch into different, like a bunch of skills that branch into different abilities. Like, I give the game a bit of shit, but Dragon Age the Veilguard actually did this really well.
Yeah.
Whereas with Bannanza, it's kind of does this thing of you don't have to tick one to get the other. You tick one and then you can upgrade it. It depending on what, like, do you want to cash in your banana nail for this upgrade, or do you want to hold on and get another set of bananas to get a better upgrade?
Basically some skills require multiple skill points, is what Calvin is very badly explaining.
So, for example, if you want to improve the sonar, which is the one that I'm improving a lot, you need initially 2 skill points, and I currently am at need of 3 skill points to make it even better.
Yeah, Donkey Kong whistles is great.
Yeah, that's actually...
Donkey Kong knows how to whistle. A gorilla is more skilled in life than Calvin is.
Yeah, I can't whistle. That's what I find bizarre. Okay, so that's our brief thoughts on Donkey Kong Bonanza. We'll probably touch upon this again next month when we've had more time to play it.
Yeah. Well, if my copy arrives.
Yeah, no, I'd say just get it digitally if it doesn't arrive by Monday, mate, because you need to play this.
Jeffrey Bezos.
So let's move on then to the next one that was on the next one highest on the Metacritic score. Death Stranding 2, 1 point behind Donkey Kong Bonanza at 89.
Yeah.
So I'm the only one who played this one.
In other words, folks, prepare for a monologue. We're just gonna be here having sex.
You guys, can I ask you guys? Did you play Death Stranding 1? Either of you?
No. I did not care about it at all.
Okay, so I also should say journalistic integrity at this point. I know someone who I have to say before we go any further. I do know someone who worked on this game, but they haven't.
Kojima, I knew it.
I wish I knew Hideo Kojima.
He is Jeff Keighley. I knew him.
But I do know.
No wonder your review shows were so shit.
God's sake. I do know. So as I say, I do know someone who works on this game, but they did not influence my decision, my opinion on the game. Which is, I think, I wasn't a huge fan of Death Stranding 1, because I felt like Cat Icarus really summed it up quite well. With, it's like, if you're that long into the game and it's still not gripping you, why would you keep going?
Yeah.
This one, much better. You get way more stuff way quicker, and the storyline does a really good. The storyline's great. Norman Reedus gives the performance of his career. Troy Baker's phenomenal as the villain.
As he always is in everything he does.
Yeah, no, he plays the guitar wielding guy from the trailers.
Yeah.
So he plays Gene Simmons.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, except somehow slightly less of a dickhead than Gene Simmons. The thing about it is as well, though, is it's the fact you get all that stuff. You get your weapons, you get the vehicles a lot quicker. Like, you only have to do like 4 story missions before you get access to vehicles, and that's a vast improvement on, like, you'd have to spend like 10, 11 hours before you'd even get vehicles in Death Stranding 1. Gameplay's improved. I think the environments have improved, but I feel like they, in some regards, but I also think they went too much for deserts, because obviously
the whole thing now is the desert of Mexico to the desert of Australia.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the plot line of it is, well, I should say no spoilers, but because there is a lot of plot reveals in this, and people that really care about the plot. But it's basically, you start out trying to connect Mexico to the chiral network that you were setting up to connect all of America in the last one. And then, for plot reasons, we have to start connecting Australia in a ship that's being driven by George Miller, which is bizarre. It's called Tarman in this one. So we have so we've gone from Die Hard Man to Dead Man to Tar Man.
Yeah, it turns out Kojima's just trying to get his Mega Man off the ground.
Yeah, there's a few there's a few new characters in this one. You got Elle Fanning's in the game, obviously. She's a character called Tomorrow. There's a woman who...
I met her sister yesterday.
And there's a woman who can control the weather and actually makes non-toxic rain called Rainy. She's actually one of the best parts of the game.
Yeah.
Because... also, if you play this game, you will get the song Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head stuck there for days because the game consistently plays it over and over again. But as I say, no, Lea Seydoux is also back. She's a fantastic in it again. But in terms of the gameplay though, it's really good. I actually prefer combat to stealth. Ironically, the stealth gameplay I don't think is very good.
Which is funny coming from a Kojima game.
Yeah, I know. That's what I found bizarre. But it's like the problem is I like to have a lot of weapons on standby just in case. So as a result, so there are just some boxes popping up, and they say, "Look, we can clearly see you." I'm like, oh, sod this, and just get a shotgun out and blast them away.
Is that just because you're bad at stealth?
Yeah. But as I say, I think I've noticed a bunch of other people have also said they've dropped stealth to do the straight up combat, and I prefer the straight up combat. I think the combat's better in this one.
Yeah.
The boss fights, though, I will say, are a bit of the boss fights are actually a bit too repetitive. You are fighting the same sort of bosses over and over again.
Yeah.
Giant spiders, robot spiders, essentially, or giant robot octopuses. But I will also stress it's extremely well done. This game, like the game looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And I did really enjoy the online multiplayer. Like, I actually worked with a bunch of other players to rebuild a bunch of roads on this, and as a result, I earned a bunch of extra likes. Or if I was going by a similar location doing a delivery, I would just pick up someone else's cargo that they left behind and say, yeah, okay, I'll take that there because I'm going that way. Thing I really don't like about the game is the fast travel.
Yeah, me talked about that before.
Yeah, basically, there's two reasons why. I don't understand why it's here, because you lose points on your deliveries if you use it, and there's a whole bunch of times in the game where they take it away from you. So why is it there?
Yeah, it does seem not really well thought out.
I don't understand why it's there in the first place, because I personally... I actually felt some of the parts I really enjoyed about the game was when I had to backtrack, because it could just go a bit more seamless. Into things. Oh yeah, the soundtrack's also a bit of a mixed bag because some of the songs are really good, but some of the songs actually aren't that great.
Yeah.
Although it's weird when you get that song by the VTuber that Kojima was a fan of, who he put in the game.
Oh, the rabbit one.
Yeah, Pecco, I believe her name was. But they are hilarious, and the scenes with the pizza maker are the most Kojima thing I've ever seen in my life. And you said it was the guy who's the original director of Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, just randomly in there as a maker of pizzas.
Doing pizza kung fu.
Which is just so Kojima.
The thing I'll say about it is, though, I thought for the rest of this year it was going to be Ghost of Yotei will be my best PlayStation first party game. There's no way Death Stranding 2 is going to hold up. And I think now Ghost of Yotei will have competition in that regard, because I really enjoyed my time with Death Stranding 2. I think I started to feel the burn when it was getting on a bit. But I will say you can skip the cutscenes, and they will tell you how far into a cutscene you are. So if you're worried about that, that's in there as well. But I really enjoyed this game, so highly can recommend it.
Yeah, I actually wish more games did that. Tell you how far into a cutscene you are at.
Yeah, I agree. Though, Ren would abuse it all the time on stream if he did.
Yeah.
So also, you can jump into Death Stranding 2 if you haven't played Death Stranding 1. because they give you a recap in the opening menu, and PlayStation even put a recap out themselves in video form prior to the game coming out. And I think it's still on their Twitter page.
Oh, that's good then. So it's like what they did for God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
That had a recap movie.
So I'll get one more out there before we move on to the news items, because we don't want me monologuing for the entire bloody podcast.
No, you do though.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4. Again, I'm the only one who played it.
Yeah, because no, I meant to. I've been playing Robocop because that's the game I'm reviewing at the minute.
Oh yeah, we can talk. You can talk about that afterwards then.
Oh, yeah, I'll talk after this.
Yeah, we'll do. Actually, let me double check first, because I want to see. We always go by Metacritic, so I'll double check how they're doing on Metacritic.
Yeah, it's Robocop Unfinished Business. It's the standalone expansion.
Oh, I was thinking it was a sequel to the one that came out a couple of years ago.
Okay, so we're going Tony Hawk first because Robocop has 69. Nice.
Hey.
Let's see, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4 HD is what's it?
Probably in the 80s, I think.
82.
Yeah.
So we go by Metacritic order. So we'll start with Tony Hawk. It's Xbox. This is the last nice thing I'm going to say about Xbox in this podcast.
For once.
Oh no, it's a second to last nice thing I'm going to say about Xbox, because I was going to bring up a thing about the fact that I forgot to do it, but I was going to bring up a fact.
Save it for later.
About how their save system is better. Their backup cloud system is better than PlayStation's.
I said save it for later. He just ignored my advice. You are just like Ren playing Dark Souls 3.
So, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4 is Microsoft's best release of the year so far.
Yeah, that's not saying much, though, to be fair.
No, they've had some good.
I mean, yeah, it's a game it's a remake of a game that came from the 2000s that people with receding hairlines still wank over.
But there's some good. They've had some good stuff this year. South of Midnight was good. I'd say that despite the fact it wasn't as good as the previous entries, Doom: The Dark Ages is still pretty good.
Yeah, I still enjoyed it.
I feel like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4 is very strong, but it has one major fault. I can't.
That they weren't able to get all the music back due to licensing.
Well, some of the music's come back. Like they got Ace of Spades and 2 Minutes to Midnight. They got some songs from Doom soundtrack. They got some. The soundtrack is still really good. They got Alice in Chains' "Dem Bones." Oh, Them Bones. Sorry, my mistake. I apologize. But the weird thing is, I can't do online multiplayer.
How come?
You have to have an Activision account to do online multiplayer. It's completely locked off if you don't.
Oh, how bizarre.
It's I know because I thought that'll just be the crossplay. I can probably play with our Xbox play. I'm playing the Series X version of the game, by the way. I thought I can play with other Xbox players, but I just tried to. I thought I'll do a bit now before we go on the podcast. So I can give my fresh thoughts on what I think about the online multiplayer. And just said, "Nah, you're not allowed." And I didn't need this for Pro Skater 1+2 HD. That one did let me do the multiplayer right out the bat, because I'm paying for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
And I'm paying for Xbox Live, which is now merged into Game Pass. But the point is, I'm paying for the online multiplayer, and I don't have access to it because I don't have an account with a company that's owned by the company I'm paying for online multiplayer for. So
that's just so random.
I know, but they brought back the best. They brought back all the maps, though. All the maps are back. Despite the fact I did think that they locked off the cruise ship map, that is available. You just got to get a certain number of achievements and medals in the Pro Skater Free campaign.
Oh, okay. That's good, then.
So, which is great, because it is the best map in the whole game.
Yeah.
It's still the same fun arcadey gameplay. It's just, I absolutely love playing this one. It's also the accessibility. I do think also the accessibility features are a bit difficult to find because they're labeled as like mods. So like turning off the balance gameplay when you're doing grinding, or hanging onto the side of vehicles. You can turn that off, but it is under mods rather than accessibility features. So I think that might be quite difficult for people to find. But it's overall really damn good. But overall, it's just a really damn good arcadey game, and I think they further prove to me that Pro Skater 3 is the best game in the series.
Well, so even better than the latest Underground games.
Oh yeah, I do think it's better than the later Underground games. Just the parks they grade in that are great. The soundtrack in it is great. I just think Pro Skater 3 was where they nailed everything that had come before it. The one song I wish they had added, but they didn't get back, was All My Best Friends Are Metalheads by Less Than Jake. A.k.a. the song that they play during the Digimon movie when the internet's getting fucked up.
Yeah.
In fact, there's not a lot of the ska music from the early 2000s in there, which was such a big factor in the Tony Hawk and MTV at that time.
Yeah.
So, that's my brief thoughts on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 plus 4. Reese, Robocop Unfinished Business. It's got 69 on Metacritic.
Yeah, so this is a smaller standalone game, just like the original Rogue City. It was only on for like 23 quid, I think, on the PlayStation Store. So it's very much a budget title.
That's not a bad value for the game, I'd say.
Yeah, so did you guys watch the Dread film with Carl Urban?
Yes.
Dread.
Yeah, great film.
So the main plot line is him climbing up that tower to reach the bad guys.
Yeah, Mama and her gang.
That's the entire plot of this game.
So it's
lifted exactly the same way.
Is it? How long gameplay wise is this one?
I'm about halfway through, but a lot of people online say it's like 10 to 12 hours.
10 to 12 hours for 23 quid is not bad.
Longer than Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yeah. And there is more side stuff like solving cases like in the original game, but it is mostly focused on that more linear corridor-based action.
Which, considering the gameplay of the Robocop game, I think is not a bad decision. Yeah,
I thought it was really good. Because I reviewed, of course, the original game. I really enjoyed that. One of my game of the years. It was very Deus Ex style, where it's interacting with people, while then focusing on pretty much murdering people as best you can.
So, is that why you think this thing has got the 69 score rather than like in the mid 70s or lower 80s?
Yeah, from my point, admit it should be like a 7.5 out of 10, but it is mostly just focused on the action. The pacing is very quick in this version.
Well, DLC kind of is like that. I mean, do you guys remember? If you remember the DLC for PS4 Spider-Man?
No.
Yeah.
Like that one was a lot more action focused. There was only like a few little extra bits and bobs to do.
Yeah, and it came out in several waves.
Yeah,
it was stuff from like Black Cat, then Hammerhead.
I didn't really like the PS4 Spider-Man DLC though, to be fair.
Yeah, it was over way too quick. Thankfully, Robocop has a lot more content.
That's surprising as well.
Mm.
So if you bought Robocop, you can recommend this DLC pack. Do you think?
Yeah. Well, it's not a DLC. It's more a standalone expansion because you can't launch this from the original game. It's its own separate game on the PlayStation Store.
Then why?
So like Miles Morales, basically.
Yeah, right. It's a smaller, more self-contained, but it has all the references back to the original game.
I mean, do you get any benefits for having played the original?
Not from my knowledge. The only benefit is that you would know what all the controls do, because in this game, it does not tell you what all your character abilities are. The tutorials are really bad. It's pretty much drops you and shows to a firefighter, says go.
Okay, so
sounds like your average Doom game.
Well, there's actually more tutorials in Doom than there was in Robocop.
There was an Eternal, I remember that.
Yeah. I also played tutorials as well in Dark Ages. But I would recommend this for fans who are fans of the character and also prefer more shorter games like this, 10 plus hours. And that's 10 hours if you're doing everything. If you just want to do the main story, I think it's like 7 to 8.
What about on top? How long was the original Robocop game?
I did everything, so I think that took me about like 18 plus hours.
So these aren't incredibly long games.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you are focused on the action, you can go through them quite quickly.
I kind of feel like this is something I would think would do well being on PlayStation Plus or Game Pass.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot more focused on the combat, so it's a more casual game just to quickly pick up and play.
Okay, so that's the release schedules at the minute. I mean, there's more. Have you guys played anything else, really?
No, sorry, Mimo's been doing Night Rain a bit.
Me having a bad time because of crashes, because of the game crashing. Reese having a bad time because of everything else.
Yeah, just everyone leaving on PlayStation 5. It's like, again, you cowards, stick it out.
Again, why are PS5 game players twats?
I know,
PC, I have a lovely time. Aside from when the game crashing.
Because it's literally every other match now, I have at least one person drop out on day one.
I do not have that, that often at all.
I'll tell you what, right now, I will boot this thing up later tonight, and if I can get through, if I can get through without having a person drop, I will be frankly amazed.
Yeah, and also it takes so long to do matchmaking now, even when remembrances aren't turned on.
Oh God, yeah, no, it's terrible. So,
all right, then I guess PC people will just play more on PC then.
So
more people play PC. And more people are patient on PC than PlayStation.
Yeah, definitely.
So obviously we have to move into the news right now. And the big thing that happened while we were gone was unfortunately that Xbox Game Studios laid off 9,000 of their staff.
9,000 staff compared to what we just had in May.
And we also have...
And also what we had in 2024.
Yeah. And we also have the fact that they've closed down one studio and they've cancelled 2 of their titles, and one is soft cancelled.
Yeah, they cancelled more now as well because remember, John Romero's studio got shut down.
Yeah.
Their project cancelled.
Yeah. That was ZeniMax. It was making an MMORPG that had been in development for a number of years now, to the point where one of the reasons why Tango Gameworks and Arcane Studios were shut down was to ship resources to that game,
and now that's not happened
because they were making a new engine, and now that game's been cancelled.
Now
that's made their closures even more worthless.
Now I will also stress as well.
I will also stress I'm an Xbox fanboy. I jerk off Phil Spencer every weekend.
No,
I'm completely biased in my opinions.
No, sod off. Phil Spencer needs to go.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Him, Sarah Boone, Matt Booty, they all need to go because they have failed their staff, they have failed the industry, and they have failed their brand. The time for any sort of benefit of the doubt is gone for them. They have to go home.
Yeah, especially because Phil Spencer, he earns at least $10 million a year just himself, and that's without bonuses and everything.
But if I failed at my company,
I'll at least give it this. Still less than Bobby Kotick.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will stress.
That's really not saying much.
Now, if the cancelled games are a shit deal, but my empathy goes out to those people that were laid off because that is ridiculous, and to have the nerve to say that you can reapply later.
Yeah, but it wasn't just that as well. People were saying you should go see a therapist using AI to console yourself.
Oh, fuck right off.
Yeah, there's this one article that came out a couple of days ago. Microsoft employee uses terrible AI-generated image to advertise Xbox artists just weeks after massive layoff.
Yeah, that image is so bad. It shows a person at the computer screen, but most of the screen's on the back of the computer.
Yeah, literally is.
Yeah.
But it's like...
Oh, wait, let me just check. No, they've all got the right number of fingers. Damn it.
So the other thing is as well is that you look at what the fuck was the point of the initiative? Because as a studio they spent tons of money on just to make Perfect Dark. It took Elliot's point of stop buying studios and make your own ones from the ground up. They did that, spent loads of money on it, got Crystal Dynamics into the mix to help finish it, and then they never finished it. Perfect Dark and Everwild were both cancelled.
Because they were bad with money and bought Activision.
It's not just that. The worst thing about their money, what Microsoft did this year, they spent $80 billion on AI infrastructure for the company. $80 billion just this year. So that's why they're cutting everyone to focus on AI.
Look, they're a tech company. They do have to spend some money investigating AI because it is going to be a factor going forward. No matter how much we want, it's a bullshit theory. How bullshit that is going to be a factor going on. It's more going to be how we're going to use it that should really be the conversation.
Yeah.
But 80 billion.
But 80 billion is way too much to spend on that, especially considering where that money could have gone. Like, that is the amount they spent on Activision.
No, they spent less on Activision.
Yeah.
It's like 69 billion or something like that.
That is...
By the way, nice.
You beat me to it. But I was coming to think to this, like, what is the best But it does give less confidence in the brand as well. So they've alienated a ton of people that they could have easily brought in because there are some benefits to owning an Xbox. It's got a better cloud save system than PlayStation does. I've lost tons of save data because of PlayStation's cloud save systems. Whereas I've not lost... When my Xbox broke, I had to get another one to continue doing the review. I checked Hi-Fi. I went to go into Hi-Fi Rush. It was exactly where I left it before the Xbox broke.
Yeah, and Microsoft has made such a big push on AI now because the CEO, Satya Nadella, has now said AI writes 30% of all the code at Microsoft now. 30% is AI generated.
That's not improving as well. It's literally writing.
Yeah, because it's cutting real people to replace with robots to do the job for free.
This is the thing. I'm a regular watcher of Doug, and he does a lot of video, sort of AI-focused streams. It's good use of AI. Don't worry, doing like weird and funny stuff with it. Something he did was he got AI to code a sequel to Snake. It was a fucking disaster. So many times it got the code wrong.
And
that's what Microsoft is doing.
And it's funny because AI could be a good use as a tool for developers, not as a replacement for developers. Like it could speed up their workload in significant ways, but it's it's unfortunately not really being used in that regard.
Yep.
That's the thing about automation is often people are worried about loss of job. It can result in loss of jobs, but it can also result in new jobs being created in the process. In fact, there was a brief prime example of this was when ATMs were first introduced. It was believed that bank letters would be a thing of the past, but their jobs changed rather than were gone. But I'm worried with AI, we're getting to a stage where these jobs are going to go and not come back. But the problem is, there's going to be... What's going to happen is there's going to be an AI-developed game that is so crap, it's going to crash anyone's thoughts of doing it again and be such a financial disaster.
Either that or the dark age of technology from Warhammer 40k is going to happen, where the AI and the weapons eventually rise up against humans, and we get into the age of strife. Luckily, we're a few thousand years away from that happening.
Yeah, we're at least a decade from truly intelligent AI actually being a thing that's going to happen. At least a decade. But the thing about it for me as well is, though, like I was actually, before we did this, I was trying to create a list of like good reasons to. Is there good reason still to invest in Xbox now?
No.
I found a few things, but even then it was like, but those are all on PC. So like the best thing I could come up with is like, it's really good for Sonic games, but especially like Sonic Unleashed 60 FPS is on there, but that's on PC as well.
Yeah, congratulations. You get to play a 60 FPS game for like a 17-year-old game?
You got Forza Horizon 4, which is phenomenally good.
Yeah, because you're going to enjoy it because you don't get any more motorsport.
Yeah, I was about to say, motorsport is dead, though.
Yeah.
If I was going to pick either of those brands, I would be more upset if Horizon was gone than Motorsport.
But do you want to know who is upset? Motorsports fans. who prefer motorsport to Horizon.
Yeah, I feel bad for Turn 10 that they're in that position. I do the idea that this is not the death of Xbox, annoyingly, but it is. This is the last. This is the end of them ever being on top as a chance of happening. They are never going to get to the days of the 360 generation ever again.
Yeah, the thing is, I think this is definitely could possibly be the catalyst to what kills Xbox. Because think about it this way: no company is going to want to be bought by them because they know in a few years they'll be shut down. And with the amount of layoffs at the minute, no one's going to want to work for them.
Yeah, because as we just mentioned before, 9,000 this latest round, but earlier in the year, May, we lost a further 6,000 people.
Yeah, so and another mention when during a Did You Know Gaming episode where we were talking about the never released Crash Bandicoot 5 that was going to come out, it was revealed that after laying off everyone and closing down Arcane Studios and Tango Gameworks, they were going to Rockstar employees, offering them a job. In other words, they are not trying to hire new people. They're trying to steal the talent from other companies.
Well, I kind of wonder what's happened. I'm wondering, though, because we know Toys for Bob is working with them at the minute. They're not owned by them anymore. Toys for Bob are independent. But I'm wondering, are Microsoft going to do more deals like that where they go to third-party companies and say, can you make something with our IP as a way of cutting down the costs?
Well, look how well that works out for Halo Infinite. They outsourced the majority of that development.
Yep.
There was I still think, but that was still 343 that was in charge of that one. Like,
they're in charge, but they outsourced most of the development. It wasn't mostly done in house.
I have a theory now. Give it maybe a decade, maybe not even that much long, maybe half a decade. They'll do what Sega did.
Well, the difference between them and
they'll just be a third-party company releasing games.
I'm going to disagree with that one because the difference with Microsoft and Sega is Microsoft has a better supplementary income compared to the consoles, because Microsoft what does Microsoft make most of its money on from like its customer base? It's Office, Microsoft Office. Yeah. That's where they make most of their money.
Yeah, and right now Xbox is trying to mostly make most of their money through Game Pass.
But you see,
I feel like that's what they're going to focus on in the future and stop doing hardware.
But if you compare that with Sega, for example, like Sega's biggest supplementary income around the time of the Dreamcast was their arcades. That's not making nearly as much money as a way to supplement the price of the company as something as big as Microsoft Office or the PC market that they have tapped into. The thing as well about it is Sega had more than one console failure at that point, because
and now Microsoft has.
I don't think they failed on the same level. There's nothing there that has happened in the One or the Series X generation that is as apart from this. There's been a spectacular failure as the Sega Saturn's launch. The other factor as well is they need more places to put Game Pass before they go third party. They don't have that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me ask you now, what is the point of buying an Xbox if everything is just going on to other consoles?
You occasionally will get something a bit sooner than everyone else, like Indiana Jones. I can imagine they'll keep doing that. So
the suggestion for buying an Xbox console is just, you get to play these games early. Meanwhile, I could buy a PS5 and I could play those games 3 months later and still play PS5 games.
But if I really wanted to play Indiana Jones, that's not 3 months. That was 6 months ahead of time.
Yeah, just wait.
At that point, I'm just going. Also, the backwards compatibility.
You're literally paying the same amount as a PS5 for being able to play games early at that point.
Also, the backwards compatibility on Xbox is one of the best backwards compatibility of any console. It's it really makes worth going into a CEX.
Yeah, I would just buy the old console though.
Yeah, but there's going to be
like if I wanted to play games, or if I wanted to replay games for the original Xbox, I would just buy an original Xbox. I would not go out and buy a Series X.
Yeah, but then I've got to go buy a CRT connected TV or an adapter as well. So there's another...
Yeah, AV adapters are like 15 quid on Amazon.
But they don't work half the bloody time. They
Mine does.
No, my one I got for the GameCube has sound delays through the roof.
Yeah, mine doesn't. I'm pretty sure I use the same one as well.
I think though that's the point though. The thing when I last spoke to this to someone who really knows what they're on about on this subject. He basically said the reason why Xbox won't go third party at this point and will stick with hardware for at least one more generation.
Yeah, that's what I said. Not going to do it immediately, like another decade at most.
Is that's their leverage for Game Pass. Like, that's the thing. If we were talking about the PC, if we're saying that there's more people that have PC gaming than there are Xbox gaming, we would have expected a much bigger growth of Game Pass than we've had. We haven't had that. If they got rid of hardware development tomorrow, they would lose subscribers to Game Pass. There just simply isn't the infrastructure in place. And we know it's not going on to PlayStation or Nintendo. Those companies do not want to have a competing subscription service on their platforms unless they can get a significant portion of the subscriber the fees that subscribers pay when they sign up. That's the reason why you can't sign up for Netflix on your iPhone, because Apple takes a portion of any subscription service that's done through their system. So if you actually get the Netflix app on your iPhone, it will say go on the website and sign up for Netflix there, then connect your account to the iPhone version. I would imagine if they wanted to do that, if they wanted to put Game Pass on PlayStation, Nintendo, they'd have to do that. And realistically, if they wanted to drop hardware development...
That wasn't my question, though. My question wasn't, why will Microsoft eventually go out of the gaming console space? My question is, what's the point of getting one?
Well, there's the point. It's one of the best ways to access Game Pass.
I have a PC.
I didn't say it's the only one. I said it was one of the best ways to. And the backwards compatibility is there.
So I'm basically... Okay, great. So I'm buying a £600 console so I could have permission to pay a subscription service while I really don't own any of the games.
Well, the other factor as well is that we also have had some AAA developers come out and say they don't think Game Pass is as sustainable as Microsoft is making it out to be. Now we've had
it's literally a subscription service. Like, you're not buying the games that are going on it. So people download the game. That's not being added to the sales.
Well, there are a couple of examples where they will. You do pay still for the games, but you get discounts via the Game Pass subscription. So you get. I did it with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4. I paid £18 to get it 2 days early, as a way of saying that compared to that saved me like £50 if I'd bought the digital deluxe version on PlayStation, for example. The other fact as well is that it's actually proven we've also had the counteract that a lot of indie developers have said, well, it's probably not sustainable for the AAA market, but for us in the indie space, that can go a long way to funding our next game if we get a Game Pass deal.
Yeah.
I believe, like, for example, I can imagine, they've not been quoted as saying so, but I can imagine the team behind Claire Obscure, they probably will have got most of their development costs back through that Game Pass deal they made. Reese, what do you think is the future of Xbox right now? Where do you think they go at this point?
I think they may stick mostly just the PC and Game Pass. I think the consoles are slowly losing more and more steam.
Yeah.
There's not really that much of a reason, like Ali was saying, and I agree with him.
Yeah. So on that,
because like your entire argument for Xbox continuing it is, oh, I get games, I get to pay for a subscription service, I get games that are going to come to other consoles months early, and I can play backwards compatible games that are backwards compatible, which they don't make any money from.
So they do make some money because any of those games will also be available digitally on their storefront.
How many of them are going to buy digitally? There's a really big stink currently about game ownership. How many of them are actually going to buy the games digitally?
Well,
rather than going to CEX and buy a physical copy.
Well, that's another factor in the matter of it. But it's again, you want it. The thing about Microsoft as well is if they are, you have to take my point though that if they were to if they decide to go out of hardware development, they have to put Game Pass in more locations than it is right now, because it's the PC is not sustainable for that one. Because I reckon,
the rate is going. The hardware isn't either.
Yeah. Let's say that doing that would cost them. To be charitable. Let's say 10% of their subscriber base goes, and it hasn't grown on PC. That's 3 million subscription services that they would lose.
Yeah, but my point is that most of these gamers have a PC or laptop anyway.
Yeah,
most people are running Game Pass.
So
because there's not many gamers now who are console only.
Plus they do lose that many, but at that point they're not having to pay for hardware being made. Yeah. Because if I remember correctly from what I've heard, people who make the companies who make the game consoles sell them at a loss. Yep. It's through the games and everything else that they make money from.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Elliot.
So, and
in other words, arguably, if the sales of hardware go down and they stop going on hardware, they could be going at a positive.
So, and of course, we see there is one example of a console that did try to do it the other way around, which was Panasonic with their 3DO. It didn't last long.
Yeah, exactly.
I would also though actually, here's a thought though. If Xbox did stop after their next generation, do you think Nintendo and PlayStation are going to want to have Game Pass on their systems?
Nintendo probably wouldn't.
No,
I don't think PlayStation.
I think PlayStation might.
Why would they want to do that though? Because that essentially says you're going to have a much better deal than you have with PlayStation Plus. It's not tied to
cut profits.
Yeah.
Or somehow incorporate it into PlayStation Plus.
That's the only way it's going to happen. If Game Pass, if they get a portion of those subscriptions fee. I though don't like the idea of Xbox going completely, because that would seriously concern me for how other companies could start treating the gaming sphere. Because let's say, because PlayStation and Nintendo, they don't really compete with one another. They're not really see each other as competition. Can you imagine with PlayStation essentially having, on the AAA market, a virtual monopoly for console gaming? That's actually really concerning at that point.
At this point, they practically do.
Yeah, I agree with Elliot.
Like, you already get Xbox games coming over to PlayStation. So literally the only thing you get from Xbox right now is Game Pass.
So why haven't PlayStation taken advantage of that? If they have this virtual monopoly, why haven't they taken advantage of it?
I don't know, they don't want to be dicks.
Yeah, and also the fact that game development now takes so many years to go. It's like 4+ years per game.
Yeah, and we're seeing that there's a lot of development issues right now from PlayStation as well. Like, one of their first-party releases will not come out this year.
Yeah, maybe they're not able to take advantage of it.
Because don't forget how much money they lost on Concours and that developments.
And it looks like Marathon's running down a similar route right now. That was meant to come out in September. It's been delayed indefinitely.
Well, it got delayed definitely because it found out their artists were stealing other people's work.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's the whole thing that put the projects on pause, so they can reevaluate all the assets they currently have and make sure nothing else has been stolen. Because there's a lot of stolen work in Marathon. People found.
Well, it's funny because we did find out that we're talking a lot about Xbox games going to PlayStation. This does relate to this because we know that we're going to have a PlayStation game going to Xbox in a couple of weeks. Because on August 26th, Helldivers 2 goes to Xbox. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense to me. You want to expand that multiplayer audience as much as possible.
I mean, it's already on PC. You might as well.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Do you reckon PlayStation are ever going to put any of their single-player games on Xbox? Because I can think of...
No. Xbox are doing it to PlayStation because they're in a bit of a desperate state right now.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, PlayStation are really not in that situation.
I think PlayStation... I've heard one prediction, which I think might come true, which is not Xbox, but I think they might put one on Switch too, which is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Well, it does make sense because we've got the Lego game on there.
That was my
and the difference is that game's like 10 years old.
Yeah.
Compared to like Xbox putting months old games on PlayStation.
Yeah, because Horizon, that was a PS4 game. The Switch 2, as we know, can run them fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could definitely see we get Horizon on Switch 2.
Yeah.
But there are Xbox owners now that are actually... I don't know how true this is. This might have been one thing, like someone said it and then it got reported out of hand. So take this with a pinch of salt. But apparently there were Xbox fans demanding Spider-Man come to Xbox. That to me...
Well, I'll help you with that. That's not just Sony, that's also Marvel and Disney.
Yeah, that's another thing. If you wanted to do that, you've got to get Marvel and Disney on board. And they are... And I don't think all those parties are going to... No, actually, no, to be fair, if you could say, oh, by the way, we'll probably get a ton of sales extra, they might do that one. Because, I mean, Xbox are doing some decent deals with third parties. Like, they've really got Square Enix back on board with them in recent memory.
Well, as we just saw with Astrobot.
Yeah, well, we know Xbox are also doing that deal as well because we got Final Fantasy VII Remake coming to Xbox later this year. Probably around the same time it comes to Switch 2. If not the exact same day. So it's a rather tricky time. My heart really goes out to the people that lost their jobs over this because it's ridiculous that Microsoft's making that much money and laying off that many people.
Yeah, as I said before in another conversation we had, Microsoft profits are up 16% from year on year.
Yeah.
So that's 16% extra profit they can spend on anything else. Instead, it goes to the executives, not to the developers.
Put it this way, when the last time that happened with my company, our main thought process was...
Buy a yacht.
Our main thought process was, is there any way we can...
Buy a Sonic golf cart.
Is there any way we can improve the facilities for the staff? Like we did investigations on like... Okay, is there a way we can expand out without pissing off the planning department? Is there any more we can do on that front? Eventually, we got like one extra thing in place because our electrician basically told us if you do any more, you really are risking it. But
so that's where the company Jacuzzi came from then.
That's why you installed a fuck shed in the backyard.
Do you know what's it's if we actually get if we got a jacuzzi, then Mum would never leave it. The every Zoom meeting would be done for that. Now the fact of the matter is,
and you'll be right there next to her with your Switch in hand.
I generally believe that an employer's top priority when they make that level of profit is expand out and help improve the employees' working conditions as much as you can.
Not when you have investors and Daddy Bill Gates breathing down your neck.
Mm-hmm.
So it really that's why it bothers me on such a level that I'm trying so hard to be ethical whilst making money.
Yeah.
And all this is really basically saying that I'm basically wasting my time. So I'm going to keep doing it. I'm not going to give it up on that. But that it's rather deflating.
Yeah.
So on a more lighter note, Nintendo Today app announced via Shigeru Miyamoto, we have the casting for Link and Zelda in the live-action movie, and they didn't go for Hunter Schafer in the end. They went for 2 relatively unknown British actors.
Yep.
If I can get the press release up.
Yeah, because it was 2 actors I've not heard of before.
Yeah, and I checked their IMDb pages. They haven't really been in much. But I thought that was good for Link and Zelda. I think you want relative unknowns in those roles. Just going to make sure my phone's on low while I'm looking this up. Yeah.
Just the muffled sounds of porn in the background playing. God damn it, Cal, not again.
You're funny, man.
No, it's just here by Joseph Darling, Rule 34.
Let's see. Here we are. Cast announcements for the live-action film. Yeah. So
imagine having this stuff up on Imagine having this stuff up before the podcast. Imagine being that prepared.
So it's Bo Bragson is playing Zelda, and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth is playing Link.
Bo Burnham's playing Zelda. Oh, good casting. Not my choice, but you know what? I'm with it.
Again, I to be fair, she really does look like Zelda.
Yeah, especially younger Zelda. Whereas compared to Hunter, who looked more like Twilight Princess Zelda.
Yeah, Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, he doesn't really look like Link at this point, but I imagine they could do something.
He's got so much of a built-up chin.
Yeah. And maybe we're also forgetting the fact that he's brunette.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
He ain't a blondie.
I mean, you could fix that with hair dye or a wig. That's not too.
Or just bleach him.
But the release.
Or just do the especially controversial thing. Just shave his hair off.
They've got to. They've got to. They're going to be starting filming not too long from now, because the film's due out on the 7th of May 2027.
Yeah.
And knowing like filming and editing schedules, you usually like to film that like a year to 18 months from release. Yeah,
because editing normally takes at least 6 months.
Yeah, so they gotta start filming soon.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think having relative unknowns increases your confidence in the film?
It's not just because I've not seen their body of work beforehand.
It's pretty much the same, if I'm honest.
So they are definitely going to get some named actors to appear in this at some point. So which roles are we thinking are going to have the named actors?
Ganondorf, obviously.
Well, Ganondorf is obviously going to be one of the named actors. I think the King of Hyrule, they might do a named actor for him.
It also depends what sort of iteration they'll be focusing on for the side characters.
It also depends. Are they going to try and adapt one of the games, or do an amalgam adaptation, or are they going to really go off and do their own thing?
I hope they do their own thing.
I think the same, because I think of the really high-profile Zelda fan films, and I prefer the ones that are more their own thing, like Sage of Darkness. It's actually a really good fan film. If you ever get a chance, it's still on YouTube, I believe, so I would check it out.
Literally the only I've only remember seeing like one years ago when I was like really young. And I remember that one just kind of being a bit of a jokey one. Yeah. Like the main thing I remember about it was someone fighting Link with with Magic the Gathering cards and one of those Orichalcos dual discs.
So
the parody I remember was the old Smosh one. It's the Link rap.
Smosh!
Yes.
The fucking Zelda rap.
Yeah.
What? I mean,
God damn, I legit thought that was gold. That was so cringe.
We were actually having a conversation the other day about who we would cast good ideas for casting of Ganondorf.
Ian Heacock, let's do it.
I thought I suggested Charles Dance would be a good option.
Yeah.
I said Ian McKellen.
You said Ian McKellen?
So looking back at it, I think Willem Dafoe will probably fit as well.
A minor level of people's was Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa's name.
As like a more feral Ganondorf.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Jason Momoa, the last time he played a villain was Fast 10, and
that was perfect.
Yeah, that was good.
He's a bit over the top in that film, though, to be fair.
Right,
it's Jason Momoa. He's wrong.
He's basically playing Seth Rollins in that film.
You know what? Go really out there. Get Jack Black.
Yeah.
Jack Black is Ganondorf. Jack Black is Ganondorf or Christopher Walken. I don't know.
Or if you want to book the stereotype, go Peter Dinklage.
No, No, if you want a really out there Ganondorf, Nicolas Cage.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
No, Nick Frost. Do Nick Frost. The hedgehog could be Simon Pegg.
Actually, that's a good point. Has Simon Pegg...
Actually, no, wait. That's great. Do an adaptation of Skyward Sword. Simon Pegg is Girahim. Nick Frost's demise.
Here's a question, though. Has Simon Pegg ever played a villain? Other than Doctor Who. Doctor Who's the only time I can think he played a villain.
No, because in Star Trek he was Scotty. Oh, in Force Awakens he played Rey's boss, the fat guy.
Yeah, but
Plonk.
Yeah, but
he did.
Yeah.
He's Simon Pegg. Yeah, it was him in the suit.
He's under a very heavy suit, but no, it is Simon Pegg in the role.
Yeah, he's one of the few actors to be in both Trek and Star Wars.
That's cool.
It's a bit like Jason Momoa is one of the few actors who's going to be have been in both DC.
Well, actually,
and
I just thought kind of an interesting one for Gandalf, Benedict Cumberbatch.
I don't know. I think I'd just look at him and think that's just Smaug with a different build.
Yeah, but and also Benedict Cumberbatch, he's a bit too skinny to be Ganondorf, I think.
Yeah. To be fair though, you could say about Charles Dance as well, who I suggested. I reckon Universal's probably made the casting choice. They're just waiting to announce it on that role. Here's a thought though. I think when that first trailer comes out, it is going to be one of the most viewed trailers in YouTube history.
Yeah, just to experience what it actually is.
Because there are people who buy Nintendo consoles just to play Zelda. So
I still remember, like, when I was really young, I ended up falling for the IGN April Fool's Zelda trailer.
Yeah, I fell for it as well.
I was so pissed off when I saw that and realized, oh, it's not real. Fuck's sake.
It looked really good as well. They went above and beyond for that one. So
difference is, Calvin, I was a child.
And Cal was 50.
When did that trailer come out? The IGN April Fool's one?
2010 maybe, I can't remember.
Yeah, it was quite a while, I think.
It was when I was probably 12 or something. I remember getting into Zelda around that age. I'd be really obsessed with it.
Hang on a second, I'm just checking. The April Fool's Day trailer 16 years ago. So it was 2009.
Oh yeah, God, I was like 12.
I was 19 at the time.
You still fell for it.
Yeah, I was 15.
Jesus, you got to admit though, it's a very good-looking trailer, so you could be fooled with it. That's why I think they. So to be fair, I'll give IGN a lot of credit on that one. They did a very good job with that trailer.
Yeah.
Well, the other big news obviously was about Xbox getting Helldivers 2. But
which you've already spoiled. Well done.
But I thought that played in quite well. And of course we suppose obviously not much news on Nintendo's front except they announced when Drag X Drive is coming out.
Woo!
Yay!
And there is a global. They're doing like what the Splatoon did with the global test fire.
One announcement that happened apparently. Capcom nearly apparently made Resident Evil 9 a multiplayer game.
Oh really?
Yeah, apparently, but backed down on it because they realized, oh no, fans won't want that.
Thank God they.
Or as Young Ye described it, Capcom did what EA couldn't.
Recognize a stupid idea and get ahead of it.
Nintendo are facing legal action in Brazil.
Which one was that one over?
I think it was for Nintendo being able to actively brick their consoles.
They're not going to. I don't believe they're going to win. I think Nintendo's going to win that case.
EA has finally killed Anthem.
Took them long.
Yeah, that happened last week.
Yeah,
she was announced. So they even said now you can't buy any more microtransaction currency.
Which
also this year we finally got the release for the worst game of the year with Mind's Eye.
Oh, also, well, actually, that brings
up that looked bad.
That does bring up another point, which is that legal battle that's going on in the EU right now with the organisation Stop Killing Games.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Which is basically, I kind of like. Basically, they're trying to get legislation put in place that you have to leave a game in some sort of a playable state.
Yeah. So basically, if a game is online only, make some sort of offline mode, so people can always access it.
Now, the industry representatives that have countered that have suggested that this would mean that development costs would go up and game prices would have to go up. I'm not entirely.
It's just bollocks.
I'm not entirely buying that one.
No, because that European committee is all made up of those heads of the companies anyway. So of course they're going to say that to save their own skin.
But the one I think there is actually an alternative to this.
In all fairness, I do think there is accuracy with development time possibly going up. Not cost, but time at least. Because they are having to make an entirely new mode. But I feel like they can add that in as an update later down the line.
Yeah, like
they have to do that from launch.
Like Nintendo's actually did that with one of their mobile games when they took that offline with Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. They took that offline and made a single player version for mobile phones instead. Yeah,
because that game went for like 7 years before they took it offline.
Yeah, they had a long lifespan.
Then this is the first time I'm ever hearing about it.
I imagine they're going to do the same thing with Mario Kart World Tour.
Yeah.
For example. But I've had a thought process actually on...
You mean just be Mario Kart Tour? Not Mario Kart World Tour.
God, where did I get that one from?
Mario Kart World.
So let's... but there's another one I've actually heard as a suggestion, which was... this came after Ubisoft took Grid offline completely. Like, you couldn't even have a single-player mode for it. Which is, if they're going to make the game unplayable... you have to give a refund to everyone who purchased it. Because no one would ever take anything offline if that was the case. They'd have to...
one example I can think of is, if you remember this one, Drive Club.
Drive Club, yes, that one.
That was a game that had like a ton of expansions and was meant to be like a really good live service game. But once it went offline, you could no longer access the expansions.
Yeah, it was same with the other game, The Crew. Do you remember that?
Yes, that one.
Wasn't that one reviews not very good?
It was all right. I think that's what I got mixed up with. The Crew. That one did. That was the Ubisoft game that got taken offline.
Yeah, I was about to say.
They came back.
Grid.
Yeah, no, Grid is a different company. Yeah, no, but the Crew that did get taken offline, and the suggestion was made. Well, why don't they just make it that if you take a game offline, you have to give people their money back? Which I think would be a bet. I think the industry at that point, they have no right to complain about that.
Because people pay for products they can no longer access.
That's what I think. That's where I think that would be a much fairer legislation. I think the industry wouldn't have as much of a fight over that one.
Yeah.
Or they would have less of a legal ground to stand on, at least. Can you imagine though if like that? Can you imagine if you tried that with anything else? Say, we're going to take this thing back that you've paid for, even though you've not violated any of our terms of services. Mm-hmm. But even though you could easily use it without an internet connection.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be the equivalent of someone going around your house and taking your Blu-rays away and then saying, "Actually, we don't want you to have this film anymore."
Yeah, that's actually what it is.
So I'm hoping that we get some good progress with that one, and we also know that Pirate Nation can go fuck himself.
Yeah, just that giant nepo baby, always whinging.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I keep saying to people who keep saying, if buying isn't owning, piracy isn't stealing, just admit you don't want to pay for shit.
Okay, I will freely admit Elliot has a point on that one, because I've seen loads of people with like Donkey Kong Bonanza and Metro.
They are so like, do if you want, but I hate the fact that they're so fucking smug about it.
I don't
like. I think about it this way: they keep saying, like, look at it with anime. You see this all the time with anime, where people not getting Crunchyroll premium to watch anime say, "Oh, I'm not subscribing it unless they actually support the studios." Mate, by pirating it, you're supporting no one.
Yeah, literally.
So stop.
At least for Crunchyroll premium, you're paying for. You're like supporting a legal service to watch the animes.
Yeah. My point is, do it if you want to, but don't act self-righteous.
Yeah, don't act so fucking smug about it, for God's sake.
There's a couple of times as well, like with the I've seen a lot of people say I'm just gonna emulate Donkey Kong Bonanza, and at that point, it's like, you're not trying to preserve an old game that you can't really play anymore. You're just stealing something you could easily pay for.
Yeah, it's also the point now that people can't even emulate Switch 2 games yet. Yeah, the Steam Deck physically can't play them.
Yeah, they are having they're having issues getting Switch 2 emulators working. I'm seeing.
There's probably just because the Switch 2 is more powerful than Steam Deck.
Yeah.
For example, Cyberpunk runs so much better on Switch 2 that it does on Steam Deck.
That is so bizarre that we'd be saying that sentence.
Yeah, it's more powerful. It's got a better screen.
It's got more control options.
Yeah, it just eclipses the Steam Deck now.
I imagine that Valve is working on an update to the Steam Deck right now.
Yeah.
Steam Deck 2, Electric Boogaloo.
I'll give Valve some credit on that one, actually. The Steam Deck, I expected that to die a death when that die, and it just completely go nowhere when that came out. And they did a very good job marketing it and getting it out there and getting good publicity for it. And
say what you want about Valve, like I will. They can't count to 3, but I still think that was one of the good companies in gaming.
Yeah, like if you
with all this, like especially with like a bunch of the stuff they've added to Steam recently, like saying they're not going to allow AI generated games, for example.
That's a good decision, and they're also making a bunch of other good decisions in place. And one of the things I liked about actually this goes back to the previous point. One of the things Valve has actually said was, look, Steam isn't going to go down, but if it is going to go down, we actually are going to create ways for you to get your games off our system and onto your thing, so you will get to own them forever.
Yeah.
So
it's why I think when people complain about buying games digitally, PC is never really in the conversation.
Yeah, that's right. But I think it's because we're so used.
I mean, especially as, let's be honest, we've been buying games digitally on PC for decades now.
Oh, that being said, though, remember when we went to that shopping centre in Germany and we actually found physical PC games?
Yeah.
That was so bizarre.
A copy of Baldur's Gate 3. Well, that was weird.
That was really weird. And it was kind of like saying, it was like finding like this rare animal in the wild. Like, see, wow, there is still, that we all thought was extinct. It's like, wow, there is still physical PC games.
Yeah, like finding a physical PC copy of Elden Ring is like finding a red squirrel or something like that.
I thought, this must be how those scientists felt when they found out the coelacanth wasn't dead. So it's going to be an interesting time for the industry going forward, I'd say. But we'll be back next month. Probably a couple of weeks after me and Elliot get back from Wacken, because we're going to need a hell of a rest after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 2 weeks away. Cannot wait.
But we're also going to talk about
a full discussion on Donkey Kong Bonanza this time.
Yeah, we'll have a full discussion.
Rather than me being shy because I've only played like a couple hours of it.
And Reese will be able to join in this time more. So that will be a big talking point. If we save it a bit of time, we'll be able to talk about Drag X Drive. I'm the only one who's going to buy that, aren't I?
I have a Wu Chang Fallen Feathers coming out next week, so I'll talk about that a bit, probably.
We'll also be able to talk about the Switch 2 edition of Mario Party Jamboree.
You will. I won't have played it.
It'll force us to play with him.
Well, it's actually, it will be able to do it wirelessly this time because it's having the game share feature.
I don't have a camera. I can't play the camera mode.
You can turn those games off. I've already been told you can turn those games off.
Okay.
So Super Mario Party Jamboree is going to be a thing, and we'll also there'll be a couple obviously other things that we'll talk about because obviously the news cycle never stops.
I mean, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is out while we're at Bakken.
Oh Jesus, I forgot about that game.
Yeah, if it's late enough, maybe Dying Light the Beast.
Mm-hmm. And let's face it, Microsoft will have fired about another 10,000 people by the time we're back.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't jinx that one.
It'll be announced that Microsoft has closed down Bethesda and fired half the staff.
I'm also going to make a bold prediction now, if you don't mind. I'm going to make a prediction. There will be a Nintendo Direct of some kind during the week we're at Wacken.
Well,
yeah,
we're going
to be seeing Guns N' Roses. They're going to be turning to you, just like, are you fucking watching Nintendo Direct during this?
Oh God! If the chances of actually being able to watch anything on YouTube when we're in Wacken is slim to none. Have you seen what the phone happens to our phone signals while we're out there?
Yeah, just everyone will be cheering, and you just go, yes, Pokemon.
Anyway,
that Pokemon Presents is July 22nd.
Oh yeah, so if there's anything, well, we probably won't end up talking about that because there probably won't be anything of substantial value unless Colosseum and XD Gale of Darkness go to the GameCube NSO.
Yeah. So while Cal's about that, Alex is in the background just slitting his wrists.
No, what are you talking about? Those are my favorite Pokemon games.
No, I said Cal's about Pokemon in general though, from the directs.
Yeah.
But, obviously we'll skip. Obviously,
you just hear the tightness of a rope as I swing back and forth.
Oh, and all I can also say is my heart goes out to the people that qualified for the Pokemon World Championships but were denied a visa to compete because of their political beliefs. It's unbelievable that in this day and age that they were denied entry to the United States for that. That is, and they should have had the right to compete.
He was more heartfelt in that than he was about 9,000 people losing their jobs.
Anyway, I'll speak to you guys. So obviously we'll be back next month. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.